anything to these cars.
It's like any other car, it just has a dancing horse on it, you know? Has nothing like I've ever seen before.
We got a really cool GTO we're working on, totally custom.
And let me guess, that thing is going to be low to the ground.
I didn't even have to say that.
You ready for this?
Oh my God, this looks sick.
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal.
You know, it's a cool day when a customer rolls into the shop with a new car that's already really unique. You know, I'm really excited for the custom that we can bring into this Ferrari F430.
What are you doing with this thing on the north side? Man, you know, I've had this car for a little bit, Bill, and I kind of wanted to make it unique and make it my own and something different. And I know you're the person to come see for it, so I was just kind of seeing what we could do with this thing.
Just a Ferrari riding around just ain't cool enough for you, huh?
Nah, I got to do some stuff that I like to see on it.
Right.
What I really like about the Ferrari F430 is the looks of it. The sound is absolutely amazing. As soon as I get a car, usually I like to take the stock aspect of it away and make it customized. Wanted just to look a little bit more aggressive and just a little different flavor than what it has currently.
Personalize it, make it your own, and make it stand out.
Absolutely.
You know, I've seen you rolling up, man, it's a beautiful car, don't get me wrong.
Thank you.
But it's lacking a little bit in the front, man. So there's a little bit of room for improvement up here.
Okay.
It looks too slick.
Needs something.
It does, man. It needs something down here low. What do you think about building a new front lip underneath here, bringing it out a little bit? Couple of inches.
Yeah.
I mean, it just comes all the way out the side to it, maybe bent up on the edges. I think that'd just wake the whole front of your car up.
I agree.
That way, when it's coming at you, man, people are just like, dang, here it comes.
I like that.
You know, one of the obvious things we have to do is upgrade the wheels and tires.
For sure.
And if we end out.
That would look awesome.
Well, something like that is a must on this car.
Okay.
And you gotta get the stance just a little bit lower too, right?
Yeah, I agree.
All these streets around here aren't made for a car like that.
No, it's not.
A low car that we're going to make even lower with a new front lip, right?
Yep.
So what do you think about putting air suspension on this so you can just drop it on the ground, then you can raise it right back up to get around those potholes?
A bagged Rari? You can do that to this?
Man, absolutely, man.
Where do we even put the tank?
Well, that remains to be seen.
Okay.
That's the way to go on this. I mean, to have that adjustability, man, we got you on that. Whether it's a full-size Chevy or a Ferrari, it doesn't matter. Bagging this thing is no problem at all. We'll make it super reliable, we'll make it ride really good. And this is what we do here, so, you know, that's not a problem at all.
A bagged Rari in Houston? Yes, sir.
Can you picture that, man?
And I'm
pulling
excited.
up and then dropping that on the ground?
Yeah, the visual's there. So front lip, wheels and tires, and an air ride suspension on this thing.
You wanted something to set you apart from everybody else, right?
I did.
Well, it don't get any cooler and more personalized than that, right?
Man, I'm super excited. That's going to look amazing.
You ready to get it going?
I'm ready.
Let's make it happen.
All right, Bill.
Man, it's going to be cool. You know, there's no argument. Ferraris are a cool car, but they all pretty much look the same. Right out the be a lot cooler, but you know, there's going to be somebody that's going to park theirs right next to you and just be the exact same, surpassing the normal quality, the normal engineering. You know, they go above and beyond on that. You know, they exceed every expectation on that. But when it comes to customization, that's where we go above and beyond. Most people, when they have a high-end car like this, they want to customize it, they put wheels and tires on it, maybe wrap it. That's not going to cut it. You know, the owner, he wants some actual customization on this. He wants something a little bit more. He's in the right spot. I got a thing or two in mind. I'm not real sure why most people are afraid to do anything to these cars. You know, if you want a cool car, you do what it takes to make a cool car. Man, I see you got a lot of eye in here. Yeah, you don't get these in the shop too much, right?
Not at all, man. What are we gonna do to this?
We're known for air suspension.
Of course.
That's our thing, right? So that's what he wants. He already got a super cool car that's already low, but he wants it lower. Right? But you gotta have that adjustability to drive it around Houston.
Yeah, Houston's like the worst place ever to have a
Upper off, that would hurt.
So definitely having that ride height adjustability to get that look or to have that clearance would definitely be a nice option to have in a very expensive car like this.
It's good to be in the air suspension business in Houston. Right?
And the hard part is figuring out how to run all these lines and everything. Well, I know one thing, we're not putting the air management back here.
No, not the tank right here on top of the engine.
I don't think so.
You know, not only that, he wants a lot more aggressive look on the front end. So we're going to build a new custom front lip out of aluminum.
Oh, so even lower.
I don't know what it's going to be yet. It's kind of be dictated to how everything's flowing together once we start building. To top it all off, we got to have those new wheels and tires.
Yeah, it's definitely going to set the stance off, give that nice look to it, kind of aggressive.
You know, this is going to be real cool, man. There definitely won't be another one like this around Houston.
I don't know about you, but I'm super excited to see one of these things around. That's going to be something right here. Yeah, buddy.
All right, man. Y'all ready to get on our first Ferrari?
Yeah. Not intimidated. Something new. Something different.
Just like anything else, though. We're going to get after it, get it done, and make it happen, and make it safe to be on the road.
This thing will probably go up so high that we need to get a 6-foot ladder. I can put a whole nother... Alright, first things first with just about everything we do. We'll get the wheel out of our way, get all the wheels off. That way you get to what you're working on. You got all your room. There's nothing in there anymore. I already got that one. I was just making sure y'all were paying attention. You know, one of the cool things about working here is you see all the different kind of suspension components on all the different makes and models of vehicles. Is it 18 or 19? 19. Actually take it apart, see how it works. Oh yeah. Modify everything. We're just not gonna stop till it's just right. There's my Ferrari strut coming out of my Ferrari, going onto my Ferrari table. We'll get some measurements in here. We'll figure out what we got. That looks longer than 14 inches. It is. It's 17 inches. Here are the stock struts that we pulled out of the Ferrari. A front and a rear. You can see they're different lengths. These are adjustable. So this is a shock and an airbag in one. This is why they call it a strut bag. But we'll start off with making it match these measurements here. Throw them back in the car. And then if we want it to go lower, we can pop this guy out, adjust it up higher. And then once we get done later with running plumbing and all that stuff, he'll have the additional 5 inches of travel from wherever it's set to lowest to the highest point. So these things are actually here in an hour would take me 14 on something else. You know, now running all the lines and figuring out routing and all that stuff, that's gonna be tricky. These cars like Lambos, Ferraris, a lot of these real low cars, they'll have these belly pans completely covering the whole underside of the cars. All your members and rockers and everything. This keeps all that stuff safe. Plus, the aerodynamics keeps the wind from getting up underneath the car. So we're gonna take this stuff loose, let it hang, and then Jamie and I will be able to see exactly where to run these lines. This is actually the front of the motor right here. You can see everything from the front going to the rear. So this is what we're gonna use to route our air lines. Pop that frunk. Limited room in this car because it's a mid-engine car, so there's no room in the trunk. You don't want to put the air tank or air management in the car. This is really the only place to put it. So first thing is start pulling this stuff apart and see what we're working with. Has nothing like I've ever seen before. After I pulled the panel, I can see that it doesn't have a steel piece on the cowl. It's just got this styrofoam. So trying to attach a tank compressor to this right here is definitely not going to work. So we come up with this little frame, and then we can mount the tank and everything to this little frame. You want to throw this in that front? We got our angle tacked up. We got it fit in the car. Kind of judging what we can do with it. Jamie's going to go ahead and start making some mounting brackets for this. We'll get the tank put in here, the compressors put in here, kind of play with them, see where we like it, and then we can see what we have to build to make those fit to the frame. That'll look pretty swell, huh? You like that? So we're going to slide that guy in there. I'll lay everything out, make sure it's perfect, mark all my holes. I can take this sheet metal out, drill all my holes. Hey Dustin, can I use your welder?
Oh yeah.
And
then I can put it back in and spot weld it to the angle, grind it, smooth it out, clean it up. Any nut certs that I plan on using. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a brace just to strengthen the center of it up. Once I put my compressors there and I mount my manifold, the center of this is gonna wanna sag. All right, so now that I have it all together, you can see the vision come to life. This is like the ideal way of doing this, just because it simplifies everything. I can make everything right here and then just go put it down into the car and plug in my lines and we're in business. All right, it's in, now it's time to make some braces.
You know, it's not every day we get to bag a Ferrari F430. One of the biggest challenges of the suspension setup is figuring out where all those air lines go.
The struts on the Ferrari have a lot of movement, so you can't run a hard line into the bag. So now that I have my braided line fastened, now I can run my hard line up from the front to the back here. Everything's gonna have to run down the center, and I'm gonna have to consolidate as much as I can. Getting that fish through is probably gonna be the trickiest part. Other than that, it's like any other car. Just has a dancing horse on it, you know. There's really nowhere to run this line at all. We're having to fish it through one hole and hope it hits another hole. It's kind of tricky, but it's also fun. Like, I like this part of it. So I got all 4 lines ran from the bags from each corner. They're ran behind this panel right here. So once I get everything installed back in here, I know exactly where I can pop all my holes for my bulkheads. I have this front panel right here that covers the brakes and all that good stuff where our airlines are. So I'm gonna make a little bulkhead right here for our 4 airline bulkheads that we're gonna be using to go from our manifold to each bag. So just take some aluminum, drill my holes here. There she is. It'll be something like that.
So I was strolling through the shop over there a little while ago, checking out that beautiful Ferrari. They're doing a great job on it. They got this bulkhead here. Not bad, but it is a Ferrari, so figured we dress it up just a little bit better. I'm gonna take a few measurements, draw this up in the computer, then I'm gonna cut a piece out of acrylic. We're gonna have the logo in it, lines around it, just to dress this thing up a little bit so it's not so plain and boring. All right, everything looks good. Let's run it. That was easy enough. Everything lines up good. Get this thing cleaned up a little bit, get it over to Ryan, and let him put it on the car.
So I got the little cover back from John. I'm gonna drill some holes here, then I can mount the plate and my bulkhead. Classy. I like the way John's piece gives it a little bit of character.
You know, today, Marcos, a longtime customer, good friend, invited me out to his house to see his car collection, and then we're off to a high-end coffee and a 68 Ranger for him.
Good morning, man.
Good morning, dude.
Man, I appreciate you having me out, Marcos.
Thank you for coming, Bill, and give us the support like always.
You got quite the collection. How do you pick which one you're going to drive, man?
Well, man, it's a little hard sometimes, but it's like the best thing to do is just take them all out and take every single one.
You know, Marcos has a really impressive collection, from Lambos, Ferraris, Porsches, and even to Paganis.
Pagani is like art on wheels.
Absolutely, man.
It's kind of like what you do. This is basically Bill on the hypercars.
Definitely, man.
So what you got going on the shop, Bill?
Man, we actually got a Ferrari, a F430.
Nice.
Totally custom front bumper, one off.
So now you're working on exotics. I'm glad Cars and Coffee, they give you some inspiration.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
So what else that you got going on?
We got a really cool GTO we're working on. Totally custom. I mean, every part and piece has all been touched. We got it all stripped down right now. We got a new frame built.
Mounted a brand new LT4 engine and trans, and this V8 should be getting about 650 horsepower. Now we can get moving on our custom suspension.
And let me guess, that thing is going to be low to the ground.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't even have to say that.
Once we finish the suspension, we're going to move on to building this unique one-off engine bay. then we can get it off to blast. When it comes back, it's going to be a ton of body work and a full custom interior and paint.
Man, I'm sure after you guys get done with them, it's going to be a really, really unique piece like everything that you guys do. Keep that motivation going, and I got a little surprise for you. You ain't driving your truck today. I want you to drive the Ferrari today, bro.
Man, let's get it.
We have the custom chassis built and mounted on the GTO. Today's the day. Ryan's getting started on the suspension.
So we got our Willwood spindles and brakes in and everything today. We're getting it level, making sure my spindle's level, my tie rod end is level, getting it centered exactly where we want it to be. See where my wheels turn. It's a good looking wheel. I like it. Got this little half by half right here and tack it into place. Make a little mock-up. So just like that, now we have this point to this point, and we know exactly where it needs to be to have that wheel centered and the spindle in the right spot. So we got the arm off the car. First things first, tack these guys here. Now that this is all tacked in place, what I'm doing now is just drawing me some lines. That way, whenever I do my driver's side, I can duplicate it. I cut this stuff off. Put my new ball joint cup on that's not all cut up and dinged up and everything, and then I can start making my arms. Control arms came out really nice. I like the way it looks with that rolled pipe like that. Way better than just straight run, normal stuff. Now that the lower's in, we got it set up. We can start working on our upper control arm. So I got the upper control arm bolted in right now. Got our upper and lowers done. Already got a mirror too on the table, so we can jump on the other side and start doing that. Knock the steering out and get all the rest of this stuff done up here in the front.
On the bigger builds like the 68 GTO, I consider every step forward a big step. And right now we're almost done with the front suspension. The last little part of the front suspension is mounting the coilovers. So we got our control arms notched out, we got our thick wall DOM, so we're gonna place this, we'll have a place to mount to. So these washers in here simulate our coilover width, weld it all in place, slip the all thread out, and we got our place for our coilover to mount on the lower control arm.
Now we're going to move on to our upper mount, and that's going to go on the top of the frame. We'll have it come over a little bit so that our coilover spring never rubs or impedes throughout the travel of our suspension. We'll get some tabs drawn up, transfer that to metal, come and try it out. So I got all our tabs cut out on the bandsaw. This is all done by hand, so there's little differences between every one. So I went ahead and stacked them all up on the table, clamped them down, and then I'll buff them all at the same time so that they're all identical whenever we go to put them on the car. Even though they're handmade and hand-built, they'll still be all identical. We got our template with our hole location in it. We're gonna put that on here, center punch every piece, and then drill those to 5/8 for our bolts on our coilovers. I'm just stepping up the sizes as I go. We got our upper coilover brackets cut out, cleaned up, looking nice. We're gonna get them on the frame, see how everything fits.
Done, coilovers mounted, front suspension is a wrap. We've been bagging cars for about 30 years now, but this is the first time we ever run airlines on a Ferrari. And this is part of the challenge and the fun of working on this thing.
All right, so we got the pan wrapped. I'm just gonna put the tank, the compressors, the manifold, everything, get it all bolted down. Looks good, time to throw it in the car. So I got my tray in, I'm gonna run my electrical through right now. Putting the tape there so I can mark my holes where they need to be drilled instead of marking a black mark on black carpet. Probably one of the best ideas I've ever had. It's time to do some airlines now. It's a cool part. I just get like a rough measurement of the route that I want to go and start bending. If I like it, keep it, move on to the next one. Whenever you open this, the first thing they're going to look at is the lines. So if you just got a bunch of plastic line throw in there, it's just going to ruin the whole look of it. Doing a hard line is a really slick idea, but you can measure and kind of have a good idea of what you want, but what you think is going to work is not going to work, and you got to scrap it and start all over. Really, it's just aesthetics, kind of trying to continue the look of whatever you are building at the time. Trying to find a good groove to get in, and once you get into that, and everything just seems to kind of start falling in place. So I got all the airlines done, coming from my manifold up to the bulkhead on the firewall. Looks real clean. Got their logo, got all the Ferrari stuff in here. Nice little display whenever he pops the hood open. All I gotta do is just plug up my accessory wire, put air in the bags, make sure I don't have any leaks, and man, we get this thing on the road. You ready for this? Man, this thing's good to go now. It'll handle all the roads and the driveways and anything else. It'll look real cool doing it.
You can see somebody's already fixed this. These things are super low to the ground. Looks like it's shoved across a couple of sidewalks with a drill.
After being around all those Ferraris with Marcos, I got to thinking about the best ways to changing up that front bumper. We want something really, really cool, so I'm going to have Jamie make the lip out of aluminum and make it a lot more aggressive.
Okay, so I've got the skid pans taken off now. Next, I need to get my dimension for where our skid plate's going to go for the front that we're making. Once I get that cut out, go ahead and sand this edge. Put it up on my jack stands right here. So I'll put these in the corner real quick. You know, it's real sharp. It's about to save my eyes. So Bill's got this mocked up right here real quick.
We used the pieces that we cut off the bottom of the factory bumper for our template to trace. So Jamie's about to cut this out, and then we'll see how it fits.
Putting some dish soap on here actually helps when you're cutting aluminum, because the aluminum gets hot. This will make it not cake up on your blades. So you know it's got multiple purposes. Clean the dishes, you can cut aluminum, wash ducts, you know, does it all.
You know, you can't really just put this piece of aluminum underneath the car because it's all wavy. So we're going to screw this aluminum tubing. It's extruded so it's perfectly straight. Just put it underneath the car, and that should be a nice straight edge to build everything off of. We're about to attempt to do this. I've never cut a Ferrari bumper all up. No, I don't know what's behind this. I don't know the inner workings of the framework. The thought process is cut this up and then figure it out along the way.
I'm really excited about cutting a Ferrari bumper. Well, the reason we're doing it this way is because we don't get very many Ferraris in here. We don't have a template for this.
Shoot, that's most stuff we do. You know, you have that general idea, but one idea feeds on the other, and then you eventually connect all the dots, and something special will come out on the end.
I have to say, we're past the point of no return. Alright, everything looks good. It's all symmetrical. Now we can actually start bringing Bill's idea to life. So the most important thing is, now I can say I cut up a Ferrari bumper.
Anytime we're creating something we've never done before, like a whole new lip for the bumper of the Ferrari, it takes a whole team to figure it out, and that's definitely true today. I want to give the bumper a little more squared look at the bottom, and there's nothing there to attach this aluminum to, so I'm going to make a quick little template, put it onto fiberglass. Then we can bolt the fiberglass to the aluminum. Then we'll start molding the fiberglass that's on the aluminum to the bumper itself.
So now we have our base here, our fiberglass laid out right where we want it. We can't just press the fiberglass right to the paint. You gotta have something for the fiberglass to adhere to. So I'm gonna make this nice edge rough till we put the fiberglass on it, smooth it on out. You wanna grab that side and help me throw it up here? Clean, move.
I think we're going to leave these air intake pieces because the radiators for the car are actually right here. So we can't restrict this at all. Establishing what that opening is going to look like is going to be the first step. Then I'm going to have John Burgess cut out some acrylic trim pieces, and then we're going to incorporate the trim pieces into the bumper and build out from that.
Well, you know, it's never a dull moment in the shop. Come over here, you can find cars cut in half, or you can find a Ferrari with the front end cut off of it. I got a template. I see I've got some parts to make, so we'll go get on the computer and do some drawing. So I've got to make a ring, and the purpose of this ring is somewhere to hold the mesh grill and have somewhere to body work to. First thing we'll do, take a picture of this, import it into the software, draw over top of it. That way we'll be able to take it, size it, everything's good to go. So we get some 1/4-inch acrylic into the machine. We're gonna focus the laser beams. All right, we're ready to cut. And go. Look at her go, man. Ferrari bumpers in the making. Microwave's ready. All right, so these will work. We'll take some glue them together. That's going to leave us a lip in here to be able to inset our grill mesh. So we'll get these over to the car.
You know, John made me a cool little template. We did vice grip it right here and vice grip it right here. We're going to get our outer dimensions, and then we got a nice, clean, crisp cut mark for it.
So now that Bill and I have got the outer edge scribed out, I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting this out. Get this piece removed so we can start bonding our new outline on here to get the shape of this front bumper. This is actually how the bumper mounts right here. So I'm gonna have to recess these pieces, then we'll build off that. It's starting to take shape now. You can see the frame. That's where our mesh is going to go once we get our mesh on. There'll still be plenty of air here. Still have a guard over it so nothing busts the radiator. And it's going to look a whole lot better like you ain't seen.
We finished up the front suspension on the GTO. Now it's time to move to the rear.
All right, so we got our rear end in. We got it mocked up. It's centered. It's exactly where we need it to be in order to start building our suspension. We like to use these tabs because I can level it, I can put it straight down, I can put it at a different angle if I wanted to. So starting off with here, and then we can take our measurements from here to the frame rail for our link bar. One. Now, just do that 3 more times. So the reason you use a right hand and a left hand threaded heim here is so you can have your adjustment in your forelink without having to take your bolt out and do like all that whole extra step. This allows you to just bust that jam nut loose, and then you can adjust it whichever way you need. So, I mean, this will have a ton of adjustment in it. This is ideal for doing this stuff like right here.
We're gonna drill some holes through the frame for some frame mounts.
The reason that we got the deal, sure that our 2 mounting points and the tabs, everything lines up. We'll draw 2 lines on there, and that'll tell us exactly where we need to put our tabs for our lowers and our uppers. We can line them up, square them, and they're right on the line. They're perfect. All right, so now that we got the forelinks finished up, we got our tabs, we're gonna add a cross member in here. We're gonna take some measurements, we'll cut some pipe, clean it up, make some bends, and hopefully we can make that match right on the money. So the reason why we throw the level on here is if we just put that in there, and it's hanging like that, and I just go bend it, then your bends are gonna be way off. Nothing will line up, it'll look bad, we don't want that. So, we use our level here, and then whenever you bend this side, shouldn't have any issues. All right, I got this in here, now we got it vent. I got some marks made here with the soapstone. I got it kind of level, just kind of eyeballed it, got it pretty close. So I'm gonna have to trim it again one more time. And get it tacked in. All right, so we got our center cross member tacked in. It flows into our existing pipe that we already had there. Looks good, everything flows. It's gonna clear our drive shaft. It's gonna clear the rear end over here, the tubs, the floor, everything. It's all good. I like the way it looks.
Times we go with air suspension on our builds, but it really depends on what the customer wants. So we're going with coilovers on the 68 GTO because that's what the owners prefer on this build. The only thing is we don't have enough room. We got the perfect place for the coilover, but it's not a perfect place because there's no room for it. The floor pan of the car, we need to cut out that and give us the room we need for the coilovers. This is the last of the pipe in the whole shop that we found and had to clean it up, so we can't mess up. Hit that button right there.
They want?
You can say you did something today.
I did something today. I've had a piece of pipe.
Tack it up. This is basically going to hold the whole weight of the rear of the car, so it's got to be super strong.
Got some tabs drawn up here. These are lower coilover mounts that go on our axle. I'm gonna have Jesse burn them out. A lot faster than me doing it by hand, for sure.
So Jesse got us hooked up on some bracketry. We got our lowers, got our upper mount, all made out of 1/4" material. Next thing is just placing it in the perfect spot. Do a little welding, that's a wrap.
All right, we got our lower mounts on the axle. They're good to go. Put our coilovers back on and do the top mount.
Okie dokie. Got it, man. Now that the suspension is done, I'm really getting excited for what's next. We're about to fabricate something in the engine bay that's completely one of one. It'll really make this build stand out when you open up that hood. Then it's to body and then full paint. John over Interior definitely has his work cut out for him. By the time it's done, just about every guy in the shop will have put some time in on this thing. And it'll definitely show. You know, the Ferrari F430 is going to get the offer started out as a metal fabrication job, but once we started cutting that fiberglass, John jumped in and knew exactly what to do.
They got the front end of this car cut wide open. They called me in. It's time to fiberglass stuff together. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the acrylic rings that I made. I'm going to attach some fleece to the back side of that. It's good and stretchy, so I'm just going to get it glued down. That fleece is going to give us something to create the contour and the shape that we need, and it gives us something to hold our fiberglass. I'm going to make sure I get this stretched good enough so it's not going to sag. All right, so got to see where we're headed. We'll get that piece where it needs to be, held in place. Once that's done, lock it in place good and solid. Time to mix the goo. We're using a fiberglass reinforced body filler that will bond to the fiberglass bumper and to the acrylic. So when it's in place, it'll be in place. So in order to maintain the curve of the front of the car and all that geometry, I'm going to reuse pieces that they cut off. So we'll cut this here on this corner, get it match we want it, and we'll be able to fill in all the way through here. It's pretty important to make sure you do all your trimming a little at a time, get everything exactly where it needs to be. We need the nose of this car to be symmetrical. Get them locked in place. There's some of that down there. I've got some foam that is resistance chemical. I don't have to worry about fiberglass, anything melting it or anything like that. I'm gonna get it in here and use that as a filler to bridge the gaps. Once I get that, we'll get some chop strand mixed up. Let's do this without making a huge mess. So filling this in with chop strand was definitely the way to go. Not only does it fill it in, but it gives it a lot of strength, so we won't have to worry about any crack out or anything like that. We know it's not gonna move now, so the next step is get this ring positioned where it needs to be. Yeah, just like that. Once that's done, we're going to wet this out with some fiberglass resin. And what that's going to do is it's going to give us a nice, hard, solid base. So once the resin dries, our parts will be stuck where they need to be, so we can start laying up some fiberglass mat to give this plenty of strength. We'll let that get good and dry, be nice and strong. Once that's done, fill up a couple more spots on the bumper. See if I can get this in here without making too big of a mess. I like to work in the tight spots. And for those of you following along at home, that's step 193. I'm gonna go around and wipe over the top of this with some filler. Just using my trusty razor blade here as a piece of sandpaper. It won't hurt the acrylic, and it keeps these corners nice and square. Now, you know, it was a lot of work to get to this point, but it turned out looking pretty good. So next stop, body shop.
And that, my friend, is how you take off a Ferrari bumper. Bill and John did a good job at forming everything for me, so it's my turn to go ahead and beautify everything. First, I'm gonna take like 36 grit to knock down all the rough edges. Finish up with 80 grit, go straight into blocking and primer. Probably finish off with a 180, primer again after I get it in the booth and get a nice shiny black Ferrari paint job.
Shops just focus on one type of car, but this shop, you never know what's coming to that gate.
Yeah, I'm glad we don't just do restos or stick to one certain era of vehicle.
We're always breaking something apart that's brand new that nobody's taking apart.
One day we're working on Marcos's Lambo, and then the next day we're turning a water truck.
Yeah, like taking that old milk truck and making it a showstopper.
We had like a Lotus and a Porsche.
We got the Grumman, the new electric Lightning, you know, the International.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is, new, old.
And sometimes we get a Ferrari.
Yeah, being able to get your hands on all these different types of vehicles, you get to see what they've done, and you can take that and put it into another build later on down the road.
No matter what make, model, gear, you know, we're definitely gonna find a way to make it look cool, make it stand out, make it one-off.
Whatever comes to the gate, we're all in.
That's it. Body work is done on the custom bumper for the Ferrari F430. So Patrick's going to get it ready for paint.
So now I'm going to go ahead and get the paint mixed. It's just a regular black, but it's made by Ferrari, so it's a little different. We got like 4 different toners in that color to make this black. The first one is black, the second one is weak white, then you have a yellow and a red. So it's just small amounts of each color to complete a black for the Ferrari. This black actually being so dominant, I don't have to put maybe 2 coats on it. It's a little bit different working on a Ferrari bumper. Of course, it's very expensive, but it's been a great adventure for me. The neat styling, so I'm gonna make it look real pretty. Go straight into the clear coat process. All right, I've got my last coat clear on. Looking spectacular. Everything's proportioned. Everything's got a nice gloss. After I let it bake for a couple hours, I'll go ahead and get it down and get it on the Ferrari.
Paint is dry, so now we're going to add that mesh, along with getting the custom wheels and tires on. You know, customizing a high-end car like this definitely comes with a lot of risk for sure. But the reward is building something different that nobody else has. What's up, Ben?
What's up, Bill? How's it going?
Man, doing good, man. What's happening this morning?
Man, I'm excited to get this car back.
And, you know, when you came in, you had a little problem. You had a Ferrari F430, just like everybody else's. You know, everybody's got one of those. You want to be different, right? Well, me and the guys been busy at the shop. We got you hooked up, man.
Man, I'm excited, Bill. I'm so ready to see this car.
I know you've been waiting a while. Patiently.
Yeah.
Come on, Ryan.
Hey, are you serious right now? Look at that front bumper, man. Oh, my God. What? Oh, man. That's like music to my ears right there, Y'all went way over the top and like killed this thing. Thanks, man. That is awesome.
I think he likes it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I can't get enough of it. I don't even know where to begin.
And I know when we talked about you just wanted like a front lip to change up the front end a little bit. Well, got it in the shop, started looking at it a couple different ways we could change some things subtly, but in this case, subtle went out the window. We got after just chopping the factory bumper totally up. Made the openings a lot bigger, a lot more aggressive, put some mesh in there.
So this is the factory bumper?
Yeah, it's factory bumper.
It looks completely custom.
If you don't know what you're looking at, it just looks like a regular bumper, but this thing was in like 30 different pieces.
That's exactly why I come to you guys. Y'all make factory-looking pieces, but yet they're custom, which sets it apart from everybody else.
Now all the other Ferrari dudes got to compete with you.
Exactly, man. I love that.
It was super cool. You know, you got the new wheels and tires on there. They give this car a really cool look. And behind those wheels and tires is an airbag now.
Man, a stance bagged out Ferrari is awesome.
And man, it gets it down low. I'm sure it's gonna ride well.
And you know you're gonna be turning everybody's heads when you roll.
Man, I love it. The lowness that it gives, the aggressiveness that it gives, just really sets it apart from everything that I've seen.
And an advantage of that also is protecting this new front bumper. You can raise it right up off the ground.
Yeah.
The air struts in there worked out perfectly.
Awesome.
And if you're liking that, you're probably gonna like underneath the frunk. Show them what's underneath the frunk.
You're gonna like that.
Oh my gosh. This is incredible.
Isn't that sick?
It looks super clean.
Well, that's what you want, man. You want something just thrown in there, right?
No, that looks incredible, guys. That looks like it was made for this car. And then the little details, the lines. Is that a Ferrari badge? Wow. Y'all went over the top on this.
Yeah, like you said, we could have just thrown that stuff in there and ran the plastic line that it comes with and all that, but man, honestly, this is my favorite part. The reaction's always nice.
You can tell the amount of work that you put into this. It's really a piece of art. It just looks incredible.
Appreciate that, man.
Customizing the F430 for me was something that I wanted to do. I called a few other shops and they didn't really look at the same vision that I had for it. When I called Extensive, they knew exactly what I wanted for this car. I think y'all knocked it out of the park.
You definitely got a one of a kind now.
Straight killed it.
You know, just riding stock just ain't cool. And either it being a Chevy truck or a Ferrari, my guys step up every single time. Ian, get this car out there, show all them purists.
Guys, I really appreciate it.
Get to it.
Oh my God.
Come on the way in. What are our limitations? It's got to fit in the garage, man. That's it.
We came to the right place.
Color matching the roof on the Broncos not only looks custom, it looks classy.
Right on the money.
The owners of the 68 GTO wanted this entire engine bay paneled off.
Let's get our beads on.
Full custom metalwork, fender to fender and front to back.
Never done anything this complicated before.
God, look at that. Look.
Oh my gosh!
I'm Bill Carlton. I built my first truck when I was 16. And ever since, me and my guys have been out here creating with our hands. Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal. What's happening, man? Morning.
Morning.
Need your help, buddy.
It's okay.
Need a couple things. You know, on the Jeep, first thing, getting in the shop, unbolting the chassis, and just rolling everything out. Engine, trans, everything, and just started fresh. Building the new frame rails front to back, all out of rectangle tubing, all handmade. All the suspension's done, 4 lanes, got the coilovers in it. The car is sitting on its own now. The next step, the customer wants something really special under the hood. Got the brand new LT4 mounted, 10-speed, cool car.
Yeah.
But I need some sheet metal because we're gonna panel off everything underneath the hood.
We're definitely gonna need a lot of sheet metal.
He wants to be able to pop the hood and he'll go, wow, what's going on here?
So you're gonna cover up that beautiful LT4?
Yeah, that brand new, horrible looking supercharged LT4. Yeah. So when you pop the hood, only thing you're gonna see is that supercharger right in the dead middle. And then we're gonna trim everything else out, build panels all the way around the engine to fill in the whole engine compartment.
So you open that hood, it's just gonna be full custom metalwork, fender to fender and front to back.
Fit and finish is going to be really key on something like that because all you're going to see. So we really got to spend some time underneath.
Be awesome. Flowing all together, man, that's going to look really nice inside that.
You know, once that's all done, we're just really getting started. You know, we can start taking everything apart, get the body on a cart, get it off to blast, and really see what we're working with when that comes back. You know, of course, John's got to come with it on the interior. I mean, it's pretty much a time capsule where it was. I mean, it was a good-looking car. John's got his work to do.
Yeah.
Need some sheet metal first.
Cool. Well, I'll get that 18 gauge and the 20 gauge, and we'll get it going. Cool.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, so we're going to start doing the sheet metal work on the front of this GTO. First off, I'm going to start with the motor. So the motor is going to be basically, I mean, it's the center of everything, but everything below this portion here is going to be hidden. So I want to start with valve covers, take a measurement, and I'll start with these 4 points right here. That's going to be my mounting point there. And then I'll figure out somewhere else to mount the bottom of it. Right now, I'm just trying to come up with, something that I like. We're always trying to make something cool, and we're also always trying not to do the same thing twice. So that's the hard part. I got my pattern, I got my shape. We'll make some marks on the sheet metal, get this laid out, and then I can make all my lines and circles and radiuses and all that good stuff for my bead rolling. Just playing with ideas like a design, how much material I can get in there to actually bead roll, and then making it flow with something else that's already on the car. The floor in the back already kind of has the same kind of pattern. Everything is flowing from front to back. You don't ever want to do something up front and then get it mixed up with something in the middle and then something in the rear, something underneath. It's very easy to get off track. It's very easy to have a lot going on real fast without even really catching it. So, sticking with one theme is always usually, the hardest thing. It's a huge part of what we do, and, that's what separates us from the rest. Alright, so I got this in, bolted up, it looks good. Obviously need to make some mounts for the bottom so it doesn't sit here around that side over there. We'll do the same exact thing, and then I can figure out how to tie the two in together before anything is cut and welded or anything like that. Alright, so now that we have both of our valve covers mounted on the car, we can fasten the bottom side of them and make them a little bit more rigid. Okay, so now they're fastened. They got a little bit of structure to them. They're not going to go anywhere. This is exactly where they're going to stay after they're painted and bodyworked and all that good stuff. So now we can move on to the firewall, and creating a firewall further out with a lip on it, something to fasten to and something to button up, will be ideal for starting and working towards the front of the car. I'm going to do it in two pieces because I'm going to have to cut it in the middle anyways, so there's no point in cutting one long piece. I have to shape it around that thing all the time so I know where I need to shrink and stretch. I need to shrink now. This thing has like a gradual slope. It's not perfectly flat. Just trying to match that. You just kind of slowly walk your way down. Might be able to get it right on the money. I'm not going to mess with that anymore. That is good.
parking lot today. These things are really sought after. They're hard to get, and you know, I'm just kind of curious to see what's in store for this one. Hopefully we get to do a little customization to it. What's up, man?
How's it going? Nice to meet you. Brian Koffel.
Brian, nice to meet you. I'm Bill.
Good to meet you.
Man, that's a cool truck you got, man. New Bronco, huh? We don't get many of those. We hadn't had any come in the parking lot.
Yes, sir. They're kind of hard to come by right now. As Bronco, after many years of my wife driving a minivan and SUVs with the third row, she saw these Broncos and wanted one. Man, I was totally on board with that. We've had it about 8 months, and it's time, man. It's time to do something else to it.
Yeah, you starting to see them on the road now?
Passed 3 or 4 of them on the way in to see you this morning, so.
Man, I know exactly how you feel, man. I hate driving stock cars. 8 months, I can totally understand. You know, typically, you know, when it comes to customization on a new car, I like to maybe wait 8 hours. What are our limitations?
It's got to fit in the garage, man. That's it. Just our baby.
So no crazy lift.
Nope. Yeah, something aggressive, a little tough, mean looking, just a little bit to the height to achieve that, whatever it takes.
Man, I love it. I love it. You know, right off the bat, I see a couple things we can do to it to really make it stand out. Stance sets the attitude of the whole car.
Yeah.
A little bit bigger wheel and tire, it would just make all the difference in the world. When you pass somebody on the highway, we want them to go, man, check that one out. Why does that one look cooler than the last one I seen?
Adding bigger wheels and tires and lifting this thing up, it's going to look like a beast.
And the bumper's a little black in the front.
Yeah, I see that.
So changing that front bumper to something that looks mean is a must. If we're going to do that, we might as well add lighting also.
Oh, yeah.
Light it up. So
yes.
At night you can really see what's going on, where you're going. Yeah, we might as well add some lights up close to
6 toggle switches inside, and there's nothing hooked up to them right now, so that sounds good, man.
So we'll definitely fix that.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things is this gap in between here. It looks unfinished.
It does, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know how it left the factory looking like that.
I think taking these off, replacing it with something that looks more aggressive too, that'd be the way to go with the steps for sure.
I see that.
Man, I love this color on here. It looks great. I think spraying the roof body color would just really, really wake it up. You know, not only the roof, you know, the fender flares and the mirrors, not only look custom, but classy.
Bill's come up with some really great ideas for the Bronco. I'm not going to tell my wife about anything Bill suggested. I'm just going to wait for her to see it when it's finished. Man, if you could do all that, I'll be excited, but for my wife, I mean, she'd probably think it's a prank when she sees it. She won't believe that it's hers.
She's not going to kill you, is she?
That's really up to you. It's in your hands. My life's in your hands with this now.
Okay. Man, you're in good hands. We'll get you fixed up. Let's go make it happen.
Let's do it.
Ford did a great job with the new Broncos, you know, making them look good, but there's always room for improvement. Taking a brand new car is a whole different set of challenges than customizing an old car. It takes a lot to come up with that from everyone else's. I mean, you just can't throw a bunch of parts at it and go, okay, cool, it's custom. It doesn't work like that. It's picking those right parts that just all flow together in one complete package. That's what we need to do. There's a lot of thought, a lot of time, a lot of effort to get the cars looking as good as it does right now. Taking that design, all those elements, and building upon it, that's our specialty here. You know, creating something that nobody else has, and everybody else then will copy off you.
2023 Bronco. These things, I haven't been underneath one of these yet.
That's pretty sweet. Y'all checking it out?
Yeah, man. Super excited to kind of see everything works. I always love looking underneath these things.
I love it. No dirt.
No dirt, dude. That's the nicest thing. All that rust, nasty stuff falling on your face. Don't have to deal with that with this. Thank God.
Yeah, man.
So what are we doing to this brand new truck?
Very good, Thomas. Thank you for asking.
Here we go.
You know, brand new Bronco, not many of these on the road, but there are some. So that's the problem here. I mean, you go to dealership, you get the best thing that they have. You're feeling good about your purchase. You're driving down the road like mine. You know, that's the problem here. That's the problem we're going to fix today.
We came to the right place.
That's it, man. You know, we got a lot to do with it, man. We got to change these bumpers. Make it look a little meaner when it's going down the road at you, right?
Give that tough look.
Exactly. You know, another thing we're going to do, you see the steps here have a big gap in between it. We're going to rectify that. Make that a little more stylish, right? And of course, we're going to give it a little lift.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to tear this all apart,
upgrade the suspension.
Nice aggressive look to it. Bumpers.
Different wheels and tires. You know,
I see where it's going. I'm kind of starting to see the picture.
This is a gift for his wife. It's a surprise. So he wants it different from everybody else's.
Is it really a gift for his wife, or is it something he's going to be driving all the time?
Well,
but it's his wife's.
Man, I don't know how that's going to work out, but that's the plan right now.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that's going to be really cool, we're going to change the color of the top. We're going to smooth all the texture out and paint it body color.
So all the black is going to be the same green color as the rest of the car?
That's it, man. We're going to light this up front and back also. So we're going to make this one apart from all the rest of it. So you going to let him work with you today?
Oh, God, am I ever going to yell at him so loud?
You ready?
Let's get it.
I've asked Jamie and Thomas to tear down this new Bronco. Thomas, you know, we all started somewhere just like Thomas. You know, in those early days, you got to work harder than everyone else.
Slowly steps up.
Yes, sir.
And you got to prove yourself because you're learning all your skills. And so far, he's working his butt off.
Well, you said you bring your own tools.
I'm using yours. Taking apart one of these brand new trucks is a lot different than like an old rusty truck. Everything comes apart smoothly, except for this one. Hey Jamie, it's just spinning in there.
Sorry, dog. You don't get it, man. Taking apart a new vehicle, you know, have to pay attention where everything goes. I have no experience doing this on this kind of vehicle because it's new. You always want to pay attention, bag everything, write everything down. I always like to put, you know, the nuts and bolts back in where they go. It's just, you know, quick rule of thumb. Just put it here, pay attention, think 10 steps ahead, and it should go back together like nothing we've ever built before. Lightest bumper ever, right?
Yeah, it's a real light.
Okay, so we're on the back now. Fix to put all our components on. What we're going to be installing is a lower, upper strut, put a little rock guard right here, and a track bar. I mean, there's no comparison. You know, you got a lot more adjustability on this. You set your preloads, you can adjust the spring rate, dampening. This is what you want. Better looking shop, better quality, more adjustable. It's just cool. Drop the rear end down just a hair. A little bit more, right there. Alright. These go in real simple. These slide or protect the pullover from any kind of rocks, trees, so that the stem doesn't get bent, damaged, anything like that. That's going to give us our lift. Alright, so we got our coilover installed now, our rock guard. Now it's time to go ahead and replace this lower link. Y'all can't tell, but this is super light, thin metal. This one right here is heavy duty. We're going to go with the strength on this one and get rid of this factory stuff. Lowers are installed now. Everything looks nice. Now go ahead and start doing the uppers. Go ahead and get yours in there. First suspension we're going to do is replace the track bar. We're going to get rid of the OEM track bar and use this BDS aftermarket track bar. It's a lot beefier. It's got better Heims. Track bar centers your rear end when you're going up and down. You know, you have basically a parallel 4-link on it right now. So it can move side to side. So this track bar is going to keep it true and centered.
Twice as strong as this morning.
Ooh, you're so strong. This thing is set up. It looks way better than it did before. Super happy with it, and it's going to be a nice ride.
You know, it always gets me excited to see all the diversity of the builds that come through the shop lately. To be able to put together the Bronco with a newer suspension setup. In the next bay, you know, Ryan's creating a brand new engine bay completely by hand and metal, as it should be.
Alright, cool. So Bill approved the design I had and kind of the route that I wanted to go. Thinks it looks pretty cool, so I'm gonna go ahead and start taking these templates and making them into metal now. Once it's all done, it's definitely going to be one of a kind. That's why he came here, that's what he wants. I'm gonna give him what he wants. to put mesh into it, whatever, we'll decide that in a little while. We're going to work in the middle and work our way out like we have been the whole time. Clamp me, the clampia. Put that clamp right there on the pinch weld right there. Makes sense. Got that piece in there now. Now we can start working our way out. I can make this next. Get this all clamped or bolted together, whatever. Make the side panels, and then that'll determine what all that is going to look like. Still a lot more to do with the chipboard and a lot more to do overall, but it's starting to look good, it's starting to take shape.
Building anything from scratch, like the engine bay with the 68 GTO, it definitely takes skill and experience. But it's the patience to see it through matters just as much. To cut and weld everything.
I've got all the metalwork done up to this point. I left this point for last just because of the master cylinder. I mean, it seems like a relatively small part compared to everything else that's already happened, but this is probably one of the bigger ones, and I wanted to put more thought into it, and I've been thinking about it while I've also been doing all this too, so it's kind of like the home stretch right here. It's still got about 6 more panels to make. Is I saved all of my chipboard templates, so it would be easier for me to duplicate everything. All I gotta do is just take this and bend it the opposite way of this, and then I get my mirror image over there, right? If you're ever doing any panels and you gotta mirror anything, just always save all your templates. It'll make life easier for you in the future. Whenever I bead roll, it's gotta have the step up in it, just like that one does, so I'm trying to see which way I need to go. So this part needs to be raised. Let's get our beads on. So duplicating everything is going to be one of the trickier parts. So this has to match that, or else everybody's going to automatically be drawn straight to what's been done. Let's go see if it fits. Oh, yeah, that fits nice. As long as I just keep on keeping on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it one day. Alright. Panel numero dos. So bend this side, bend the other side, bend this side. Never done anything this complicated before. Done a lot of sheet metal work, but not like a full engine bay, like covering everything up before, never. People might say building chassis is complicated. I think I could have done that faster than I've done this.
You know, the trick to an engine bay, like in the GTO, is being part fabricator, part mechanic, and part artist. You know, I've been keeping an eye on it the whole time. And Ryan's doing a great job of finding that balance between form and function.
All right, so one of my last little fillers that I have to make for this side over here to cover all my master cylinder, my windshield wiper motor, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna weld a stud into here so we can go down to where we can keep that same look of minimal bolts. It might just seem like, all right, you just put it on top, it's not gonna get in the way of anything, but I still got a hood that's gotta come down and shut and not hit all this stuff. And so there's like a million things that you gotta think about and a million things you gotta do just to get like 4 pieces to work right. I still got a lot more to do as far as welding and finishing and cutting all my holes out for all my vents, but the big part was done now. Every single part and piece is done for the whole sheet metal engine bay now. I got plenty of room for adjustment and all that whenever I put the rubber in there, so still got quite a ways to go, but now that the engine bay's done, it's a huge check off the list.
You know, color matching the roof on the Bronco is one of those details that not everybody's gonna notice right off the bat. But those are the kind of details that I try to bring in all of our builds.
Would you help me get this top off? Let me get it loose first. Bill came up with this crazy idea. He actually wants all the black plastics color matched with the vehicle. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everything off, get it to prep, and get some paint on it. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rubber taken off. Don't want to damage it. Alright, on this rubber, you gotta be very careful. It has double-sided tape on it. We don't want to damage the double-sided tape nor the top. Go ahead and get started sanding with the 100 grit sandpaper. Normally we do 80. I'd rather do 100 on this one because it's pretty smooth. So when I prime it, the primer fills up any other voids. As far as like edges and the valleys, you pretty much want to do that by hand. The machine will actually gouge into it because it's bigger than this area. So it's better to do it by hand. We don't want to add extra work, so we're gonna try to get it perfect the first time. Now that I've got all the valleys done, we'll go back and do the edges. It's the most important part of any paint job. Make sure you get your edges sanded. Now that I've got this piece all the way prepped, I'm gonna go ahead and get the other pieces done and get everything into primer. I'm gonna get my primer going. As you can see, it's a pretty thick primer. It's a real high build. It'll take up a lot of scratches and cracks or anything that's left on the surface. All right, let's go in. Get some primer flowing. What I'm gonna give it is like a 50-50 overlap. 2 heavy coats, just to make sure that we fill in everything. After this, we come back with the 400 grit, wet sanded. Just to show you guys the difference in a perfectly prepped surface ready to paint and a surface that is not ready to paint. You have a real slick, uniform, everything looks the same, but here, it's got little gritty guidelines. That's what you don't want. You really want to sand all of that out. Get everything flat and smooth so you won't have any imperfections once you spray your base coat and your clear on. Once that's all done, I'm gonna move on to paint.
You know, doing what we do around here, everybody's got their own opinion about the new truck designs. The 22 Broncos with some custom and a new bumper.
All right, so we got the old bumper off. Now we got this new bumper. I mean, it looks way better. It's more meatier. It's just got that style to it that we're looking for the build. So Thomas and I are gonna go ahead and put these grills in real quick. Once we do that, that's gonna give us the location for our sensors. So let's flip it over real quick. Everything's cut out on the grills for it, so just find a location, keeping everything the same as it was as it came off the vehicle. Gonna install it right back on just like it was. Plug it back in the harness. It's gonna work amazing. Okay, so I got all the sensors installed now. Everything's nice and clean, tied up, tidy. Next thing is, go ahead and install the bumper and get ready to start putting the skid plates on. Watch the body. Yep.
Very nice piece of equipment.
Now we got the skid plate on, bumpers on, they're mated together. Everything looks super tough on the front of this. Definitely gonna notice it down on the side of the road. So we got these new headlights in. You know, this is just factory. We went over the top on everything. Gotta go ahead and pull this grill off, get that, then we can access the light. These LED lights give you better visibility than the stock ones. Grill off. And there's a white halo around the headlight that gives that custom look. Ooh, good catch. All right, really looks naked now. So go ahead and add those new lights in there, put everything back together and see how it looks. It's pretty cool, you know, building this truck. Normally we gotta make everything, but this one with all our lights, accessories, bolts on, kind of breaks it up, changes it up for us a little bit.
Change your pace for sure.
Ready for the big reveal?
Test them out.
Yeah, let's see. Turn the high beams on. Way better than before.
Oh yeah.
I know the customer's gonna really like these.
Looks a lot better than the stock ones.
It does.
Here we go.
Let's continue on putting these lights on.
So Bill had the idea to put 2 pod lights on each side mirror. And so first things first, we gotta remove these 2 screws, put our bracket on, and use the same screws back in there, put our pods on, that's easy. Now I'm surprised how much it changed the look of the whole truck, and it's really gonna add to it. Next step is gonna be doing this top light bar. I'm seeing that it says accessory ready, so I'm thinking I know where to start. Plastic trim pieces so we can run the wire up through there. Then we're gonna remove this plastic piece up here so the light bar can bolt right on. Then once we wire it up, it should be all lit up.
Man, that looks sharp. That's gonna be a bright ass light. Everything coming together, but these mirrors right here need to change also. So we have these integrated lights and these mirror covers. So I'm going to pop them out real quick. See how it looks. You know, more lights, we'll be able to see more, and it just looks cool on here.
The owners of the 68 GTO wanted this entire engine bay paneled off. We got that accomplished, but we're going to need a little bit of airflow and something really to break up all the flatness. So we're making some grills, and it's going to look a lot cooler. So that's it. Our boy's going to get after it here. You got this?
Yes, sir, I got it.
So that's the next step. Once that gets all cut, we can start making our aluminum grills, and man, we can tear this car completely apart.
I'm gonna go ahead and drill holes in each corner, and that's gonna give me a nice round edge instead of having to make that by hand. I'll have a nice corner to start. I'm using this little stainless 1/4-inch washer here as a template, so when you look under the car, it'll look very nice and consistent. Then we'll be able to put some mesh material in between our template and then the actual sheet metal on the motor, and that'll be able to vent our engine bay. Gotta be able to breathe. All right, we got everything trimmed out, rough cut. I'm gonna go along now and get everything looking nice. Get all the spots where our bolts are gonna go through. Got our aluminum templates done. Now we're making our mesh pieces. So we're just rough cutting it first, making it large. Then we're actually imprinting it. Got this piece of MDF. I'm gonna hit that so it sits flush with the side that you see. Just work this around the edge, maybe?
Yeah, do it all the way so it's nice and tight.
Okay. Yeah. So we're just working the edges here, getting it to sit nice and consistent all the way around. Oh, that worked really good. It's nice and flush, as you can see. It looks really nice. Let's go put it on the car and see how it looks.
The engine bay on the 68 GTO turned out really well. It's like a work of art. And that's the last piece of metal work on this. Now we can tear it all apart, weld everything out, and get it off to blast.
Alright, bring it down just a little bit. Stop. We need to put some 2x4s in right here, and then we can start taking the body loose. Once we get it back to blast, we can take it to the body shop. But meanwhile, while we're doing all that, we're also going to be welding out our frame. We'll send the frame over to Max, let him weld that out while we're doing this.
As a metal fabricator, it's always a big day when you finish the metal work on a build. A hand-built frame, suspension, and engine bay. We'll get this back to blast, now body, paint, and interior, along with building the rolling chassis. We still got a lot of work, but it feels good to have turned this corner, and I'm excited for what goes off to blast. You know, the 22 Bronco is almost ready for delivery. Right now, Patrick's ready to paint.
Medium aluminum gold. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the mix. This color is a eruption green. 9 different toners to make this one color. All right, next we have a gold pearl. Right now, I'm just mixing up enough to do a spray out to check the color before I mix the full batch. All these different toners actually erupted to a pretty good eruption green. So from here, I'm gonna go ahead and do a spray out. Check it on the truck, make sure everything matches, and we get to spraying the other pieces. Well, it looks great from here. Checking all angles. Pearl is standing out like it's supposed to. So I would definitely say that this is a perfect match. When you spray something like this, you basically want to go around your edges first because there's a lot of cracks and crevices. So we want to take those spots first, then we'll overlap 50-75%, let it tack. Alright, got my first coat on. Looks great. Go ahead and give it time to tack off. Get my gun reloaded. Come back for the... Everything looked marvelous. Move on to the clear coat stage. And the clear that I'm using is a good 3-to-1 clear. And I'm actually over-reducing it 10% to get a better flow. It's so thick. You over-reduce it and have it flow out a lot better. Got great UV protection and even better shine. Real high gloss. First coat of clear looks awesome. No runs, no trash. Everything looks perfect. Once this dries, we'll go ahead and get it on the car.
We have a few last parts to install. That'll give this Bronco a way cooler look and make it a better truck. Pretty crazy how light this bumper is, huh?
Yeah, it's real light.
It's gonna be a lot more better here in just a minute. Just like the front bumper, we have the rear bumper off right here. It's all plastic. Very lightweight, not very durable. If you hit something with this, it's gonna explode.
All right, take that off.
So we're gonna go ahead and get rid of this, put our new steel bumper on there, put our wiring harness in, bolt that thing up.
That one's a lot heavier.
Yeah, this is a 2-people bumper right here. There were no stress done. Slow, easy.
This is so much.
So before we had the stock steps, you know, they just weren't the best looking steps. You could see the big gap between. You actually see the pinch weld right here. So we're gonna get rid of those, get some electronic steps that fold up in here, and give it a nice contour to the side of the truck. Okay, so this is our step. You know, it's got a nice wide platform. If you look at the underside, it's got this slick black design. It's gonna hide everything. So once it retracts, you're gonna just barely see the edge of this. It's gonna look real good. Almost like a rock slider. Okay, so now I got the steps in. Now it's time to wire them up. Each one of these mounts have a motor on them. So I'm about to run power to each one of these motors all the way up to the front, plug into the battery, ECU, that's it. Everything looks good, smooth, strong. It's a nice step up in there with the lift. This is definitely the upgraded step that we want to use right here. You can get my rubber mallet after on this side. Just a few more parts left. New exhaust, new wheels and tires. That's gonna look real good. And this thing's ready for whatever they want to throw at it.
I've been here at Extensive about 4 months, and I'm loving it so far, you know, getting to work with all the guys and learning a bunch and just having a good time. My junior year of high school, I dropped out to come work here and then worked on my GED and got that. So I know leaving school early isn't for everybody, but I think for me it was the right move, and now I'm here building a career, and I'm gonna get to do what I love for the rest of my life. I've known about Extensive for some time, and working with Mr. Bill is awesome, you know. You get to learn a lot. He knows so much because he's been doing it his whole life, and he's willing to teach you, which is cool. So he'll show you how to do it the right way so you don't mess it up and have to redo it and redo it. This is always what I've done since I was a little kid. I've always been working around cars and building stuff and just making stuff out of your hands, you know, turning something like old and rusty into something shiny and brand new, and it feels good. The secret to being successful here at Extensive is you gotta do the dirty jobs first, and then you gotta work your way up. So all in all, I'm gonna keep showing up early and working hard at the dirty jobs until I get to where I wanna be.
You know, one of
things is surprises. And today, Ryan's going to surprise his wife with the Bronco.
Good to see you.
Morning, Shannon. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You've been missing a Bronco lately?
I've been missing it a lot, yes.
Your husband wanted to surprise you a little bit with a few little upgrades.
It's awfully brave of you. What did you guys do?
So you've been dodging some questions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we've done a couple things for your Bronco. He said just open checkbook, no matter what the cost, make my wife happy.
Oh, did he say that?
Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Look, man, I want to live to see the Bronco, okay?
You want to check it out?
Yes, sir.
Come on. You know, it's always tough when you're doing a surprise for someone and you don't have that direct contact. You're just using your best judgment. If you're making the right decisions, if you're using the right combo here and there. So we're about to see how good all this comes together.
Oh, God, look at that. Look at
Oh my gosh, is that even the same car? She's beautiful.
above and beyond what I imagined. You did so much to it.
It looks amazing.
Man,
What did you do?
Look at that. Oh, my. Oh,
Look
I'm
at
sorry.
all the lights. Look at all the lights. That's awesome.
I know. Look at that.
Are those our tires?
Yeah, we totally went through pretty much the whole truck. I mean, one of the most important things is the car when it's coming at you. So we had to change the front bumper. Way more aggressive when it's coming down the road at you.
Oh, yeah. I love how it's all black, and it definitely makes a statement when it's behind you.
People are going to... If we add bumpers, you got to have lighting into it, right?
Well, yeah.
And not just in the bumper. We had to change the headlights.
I've never seen anything like that.
That's definitely not the only lighting.
No, I see some more.
So we got some rigid lights up on the cowl that you can manipulate to shine wherever you want. We also have some mirror lights too.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah.
Color matched. I really love that light bar because I didn't think we could have one.
I know you had that height restriction in the garage, right?
Yeah.
So we found this one. It fits this truck perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait to light it up.
Also, one of the things that we had to do is change that stance. Had to add that 3-inch BDS kit, you know, with the coilovers and the Fox shocks. You got a good, comfortable ride to it, and
cool.
it's off-road capable for sure.
She's mean.
Yeah.
It's a lot taller. I hope I'm be able to get into it.
Well, we got you hooked up on that.
All right. Oh, man, that's smooth.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Right?
Sure.
So you can still get in there, no problem at
It
all.
looks like it.
You know, when the truck first came in, it had that gap in between the step
Yep.
and
With
the
the
rocker
holes.
itself.
Yeah.
So we had to just replace that, put retractable steps on it, so you don't have any problem now with that extra height getting in and out.
Those steps are amazing. That's smooth.
If you like that, come check the back out.
Man, look at the back of this thing. It looks completely different.
Yeah, well, that's the point. You didn't want to be like each front bumper, so we had to change the back also. Had to make it look a lot cooler.
It looks just as mean as the front.
Yeah. We changed out the tail lights also, you know, to give it a little more aggressive look.
Those smoke-colored lights are gorgeous.
Right?
Nobody's going to have those tail lights.
You know, the biggest change on the whole truck, I think, the roof color and the fender flares, right?
Oh, yeah.
Smoothing out all that texture, making that eruption green. Not only looks custom, it looks classy.
It really sets it apart from everybody else. Bill and the team did awesome. I wasn't expecting anything, but I certainly wasn't expecting that. She's beautiful and she's a beast, and I'm really excited.
You know, some guys come in, say, you know, this car truck's for the wife, but we know it's really for them.
Oh, he's never going to drive it again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can tell this is your truck.
It is. It's my
and he
baby.
did this especially for you.
I know how much you love the Bronco, and I wanted to do something to keep that love going forever, just like our love. Bill, thanks for coming through and helping me give the best gift I could ever give to my wife. I know that she loves it, and I thank you for that.
Man, you did good.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, but all the credits to you guys.
You know, Extensive, definitely in the one-man show. I'd just like to thank all the guys at the shop for, once again, coming through for me. Well, I hope you guys really do enjoy this, and, you know, no more issues now when you're driving down the road, seeing another one like yours.
They'll be green so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate
Have
it.
fun. See
Thank
y'all
you.
later.
I love it. It's
Building the biggest, lowest, baddest custom trucks and cars in the game. People don't come here for what they need. They come here for what they want. This is Texas Metal. What's up, Ryan?
What's happening, Bill?
All right. How you
Doing
doing,
all
man? Dang, you got a lot of trucks here.
Got a few. Got a few.
Good thing. Since you sold mine. Ryan's an old friend from the north side of Houston. Him and his family sell wreckers and towing equipment. The last wrecker I got from Ryan was a 2022 International. We made it look good. You know, it was different from every other one on the road.
It kind of became a legend. You know, everybody kind of knew about it in the scene.
Ryan took it to a tow show. He said, hey man, I got your truck sold, so I pretty much didn't have a choice.
There was a guy out of Louisiana that offered us some money that we really couldn't refuse. So I called Bill up and he said, go ahead and pull the trigger and sell it.
Hey man, the time's right, time's right.
With everything you do to these things, you make my job easy selling the truck.
You know, I liked it, but I just want that extra room and a black one. You got me hooked up, right?
Got it here. It's here. I'll go grab it and pull it up for you real quick.
Appreciate it. Seeing that truck come at me, I'm glad the old one's gone. I've been missing my black truck. You know, the 4 doors, exactly what I wanted. This is what I've been waiting on. That's a good looking truck, man. The 2023 International MV 607 can carry tons of weight.
So you got the new body style International, crew cab of course, got 9,000 pound front axle, 17,000 pound rear axle, Cummins motor, Allison transmission, air ride, sun visor. It's about got all the bells and whistles we can get on it.
Yeah, man.
So what dare might I ask that you want to do to this thing?
I got some ideas on some things. You already know we have to cover up the tanks, fill the running boards on it. I got to stretch the front bumper, get rid of all the chrome. I mean, that's a given. But I think one of the coolest things we could possibly do to this is make it lower. Have the lowest roll back around.
That would be cool.
If I'm gonna do that, now's the time to do it. I need to take it as is before you put the bed and everything on it. Everything's easily accessible. Now's a great time to take it, do what I need to do, and I'll bring it back to you. It just makes more sense than working under it.
Yeah, and you got a wide open canvas the way it is now.
Might as well bag the front too.
Ooh.
Well, we've done a bunch of medium duties before with the air suspension, but never a rollback.
If you lower the rear end and raise the front, you're going to get such a great load angle for those low profile cars.
Man, it just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Let's go check out the front and make sure there's no surprises.
So on the rear suspension, that's the truck.
Man, I love brand new trucks.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody do it ever because it's all leaf springs. That's going to be a tough challenge.
The way to do this is just get rid of the lower spring. It's got 2 springs. Just get rid of the lower and de-arch the main spring and compensate with the big airbag. So you'll have that ride quality, that adjustability, and have that low stance too.
You know, that sounds super cool. I've built mini trucks. My father's built mini trucks. We've never seen anything like that. And I'm nervous for you, buddy.
That's the projects I like doing, getting that, you know, once you're done, people are gonna like, how?
Somebody can do it, you can.
They're gonna be sad at the tow show when they see this one. Shop is instrumental in day-to-day. It's just a must. There's many things to pick up, drop off, and you know, I never knew that I needed a wrecker so much until not having one. If you've been paying attention, you've probably been noticing our builds have been getting bigger and heavier. That's a job for the latest and greatest pound bed, so it'll handle whatever we want to put on the back. No restrictions, no limitations. Don't get me wrong, the last wrecker, I loved it. It served its purpose well. It represented the company well. It was just time to move on and upgrade. The 2023 International is the biggest wrecker we ever had. To do the suspension I got to get this truck up in the air, but we don't have a lift that's big enough. So first things first.
Oh man.
I told Carlos to get on the phone and find us one.
Ronnie, you telling me these things right here are gonna pick this big truck up?
Yep.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to see right now.
You're about to see it.
Ronnie, this looks like a really small pallet jack.
It's like a pallet jack on steroids. You got a pallet jack to move it around, then you've got forks that lift up 18,000 pounds.
Do they all lift
up at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's like a remote.
They're all on the same radio frequency.
Oh, okay. Man, so this is ready, huh?
Yep, I'm just making the carriage fit that tire. You can adjust the forks for a passenger vehicle all the way up to an 18-wheeler. We're ready to go up.
No way.
Easy, huh?
Man, that's crazy. Just sitting out here in the middle of the parking lot of this big ass truck. So who's using these things?
School districts, municipalities, anybody who does 18-wheeler work is using it.
How high is this thing gonna go, man?
Right about 6 feet.
Man, so I could walk underneath this thing.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I want to, but that's a lot of trust. That's a lot of trust to be able to be under this thing with that. Well, Ronnie, you know what? I think you convinced me, man. I think this is exactly what Bill's gonna need for that record build. So
perfect. I need the truck back, but you can use the list.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we know how to take them down now.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, Ronnie.
You're welcome.
Get the new wrecker in the shop, so we got to make room. We're not used to working with this long of vehicles and this tall. So there's only certain doors that this truck can come through and certain lengths of the shop that are working. So after we move a couple of toolboxes, we should have enough room to get this sucker in.
How far is that gonna stick out past?
Is it adjusted for those wheels? No, you gotta adjust it in evenly. Oh yeah, man! I'm kind of anxious to get going on this. For sure.
I am too.
We're gonna make this one just over the top. There won't be another one. I know I say that a lot.
It's true.
There won't be another one like this. First of all, we gotta get rid of all the chrome on it.
Of course.
You already know.
Guaranteed.
I don't know if we're gonna have an accent color or not, or just all black. I don't know yet. I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
But what we are gonna do is make this way lower.
Hell yeah.
I know you've never seen a lowered record before, right?
Not a rollback.
Right.
No. There's a reason though, because if you lower one of these, higher up the bed has to go. You don't want that because your bumper is going to be hitting the bed, right?
It's going to be difficult
so
to
you
lower.
want that lower in the back. How we're going to solve that is putting airbags on the front. It's going to look way cooler with it lower to the ground when you park and ride, but have that adjustability, raise it up to get that angle even shorter when you back up to a car. So what we're going to do at the back already has air suspension on it. We're going to raise it up so the truck can actually ride lower in the back. We'll be able to get the angle of approach super low. Makes sense. Win-win, and ride a lot better.
Yeah.
We're going to build running boards to cover all the gas tanks and all that empty void in there. We're going to fill all that in with a nice smooth transition all the way back to the toolboxes.
Okay, so make everything just tie in together, looking slick.
Yeah, man. You know, just like the last one, but this one a little cooler. And of course,
oh yeah, I already know it needs to be stretched.
It's got to have it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. It helps the aesthetic of making it just look lower. And then that front bumper, I mean, that's the first thing you see. You want that mean look coming at you right away.
A cool tool for the shop and a cool truck just to cruise in. So when we go to a tow show, we're going to kill them again.
That's what I'm talking about.
What we'll do first, pull off the bumper.
Settle in.
Yeah. Pull off the toolboxes. Once it's up in there, it's going to be way easier to work on.
Okay, this is badass. I like it. Beats the way we used to have to do it with the forklift. Alright.
Count down.
2 inches from the glass now.
No
Go
more?
up a little bit more.
Tell you what, let me look at it real quick. Let's do it right here.
Where do you want to go in at?
course, every suspension we build is totally different. But there's nothing really unusual about lowering this massive 2023 International truck.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Just its size and all the geometry makes this suspension a challenge. All right, man, we're going to brake hose here, whatever. Disconnect the brake hose.
Okay.
And that, drop this axle. We can take the springs out. Okay. We're going to go get them de-arched.
Come on, let's get this one out. Just walk it. There it goes.
You see the factory leaf springs have an arch to them. And this holds the load up of the front of the truck.
Come on. There. Go. Yep.
Basically, a thick metal here, arched, is the spring when it's going down the road. So how we're going to lower this is take that spring out. It's called de-arching. So we're going to send it off to the spring place. They're going to take that arch out of it, and we'll reinstall them in conjunction with an airbag. So with the spring being de-arched, it'll let that suspension come all the way down.
Let's take them bags off first. These are airbags for the semi-trucks, tow trucks, whatnot. But that's not going to work for what we're going to use. So we're going to bag the rear, but obviously we're going to be using a different bag.
Yeah.
You'd think these would be heavier, right?
It is, they're pretty nice.
And budge. I don't think it's gonna come off. We got this hanger right here that we're gonna have to move up, which is gonna be lowering the truck. And there's no way to take these bolts off, so I'm gonna cut these right here off. Next thing is go ahead and lower down the truck, put our bracket right where we want it. Alright. Then I'll transfer punch it. Once I transfer punch it, put a mag drill on it, drill all our holes. Once we do that, the bolts in it, and by moving it up, that's going to make our suspension lower.
You know, Jamie did a great job raising that factory suspension up. Keep everything nice and in line. The only thing we had to do is change the shocks and change out the bags just so it rides lower. I basically got a bag that's 4 inches shorter than the factory one itself, so everything's just riding closer to the frame. We're not trying to make this suspension for higher load capacity. Nope. We're just making this suspension ride higher in the truck, which makes the truck ride lower to the ground. Cool, cool.
We gotta have some steps on it. Me and Bill set up this piece of tube here. This is pretty much where our step's gonna be. This simulates our step. This simulates our other step. So it'll come out, down, step. So you have something to step up on. I'm gonna start out by welding it to our hangers that we have here. Get it all attached. We'll have it all on one plane instead of having staggered steps.
Let's tack a piece of flat bar over here.
Okay.
We got our tubing for our steps in place so everything lines up. I just had a chipboard and you can see in real time what it's going to look like. I've got our template for the step itself, but it's looking too bulky down here. So we're going to trim this off so we can make the running board a lot thinner down here so it don't look so bulky. So it kind of matches the bottom of the box. So we want everything to have that nice flow with the step all the way into the box itself and not just hang down and look weird.
All right.
So what we're going to do is just chop this off at a 45. That way our step looks a lot thinner at the bottom and matches up with the bottom of the box itself. So chop this out of the way and then we continue our template for the step itself. How the bolt is, if you got this cut, then we can split it there, then it's easy to get to. Let's see here. Fits perfect. So I got a perfect template to take to the sheet metal shop. This is such a long piece we can't bend in-house. My brakes on my buddy sheet metal shop down the street, and he's gonna bend this up for me. I'll be right back with it so we can start shaping it to put right on here. Most wrecker drivers wouldn't want their truck riding too low because obviously they'd be worried about the functionality of it. But I want our 2023 International to ride low and still perform like a work truck. To be able to let it go lower, we de-arch those front leaf springs, flatten them out a little bit, giving us those inches we need to install those bags and make it ride low.
Hey, Dustin. Hey, come over here and lift this truck up some.
Yep.
I just need to go up a few inches. I think right there might be good enough. I need to go back. Let's bring it down like another inch. And then we'll take two mollywopping it. There's a bolt. Let me go down with mine first. Cool, thank you. Oh man, I'm so tired of fighting everything today. We just got our de-arch springs in, they're installed, U-bolts are tight, so first step of building our air suspension is building it off there. This is what my lower plate's gonna sit on from my bag. You gotta start from the base and build up. If you don't start from the roof on a house, you start from, the base. So this is my foundation. I'm fixing to build it all the way to the top. We're hitting that right now. It won't, it's hitting this. We gotta move that now. What I'm doing right now is removing the air line for the air brakes bracket, just for clearance issues. The same thing with the shock. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. The next thing is go right here, bolt onto the frame. You can see where our airbag's gonna go right between these two plates, and that's gonna expand to raise and lower the suspension.
Like pretty much every vehicle we do around here is different in one way, shape, or form. It's different size wheels, trying to get a little lower, higher. There's always obstacles, and you adapt along the way. So what we did is utilize the U-bolts to bolt the lower bag mount down to the axle, and the bag will bolt to that. And in this bracketry, just use some DOM tubing, and that's our lower shock bolt. We're about to weld all this up, paint it all, install it with the bags. Bolts right down over the leaf spring with the U-bolts, so it sandwiches everything together to the axle, so everything's all in one.
We have everything complete now. We got our de-arch spring back in. You can see obviously how this works. You know, you put air in the bag, and that's going to push the front end down off of the frame, and that's going to give us lift. Deflate the bag, that's going to lower the truck.
Got our sheet metal back from the sheet metal shop. They did a great job bending it. The whole thing we're doing is trying to make a cool record. So we got an extra long piece, so we're going to cut a little piece off to put on the truck. So we're going to take this, whittle it all down so it fits the fender perfectly, so we can make that perfect shape to the fender. You would leave it like that, huh? Body work. All right, man. So I'm gonna take that piece, put it on the truck, use some chipboard, make a perfect pattern, transfer it over to the step, and make it all one piece for both sides. So 50 and a half, 50 and a half is center. We got our fuel tank cap that goes here, so that protrudes through the step itself. So makes it a little difficult getting this in and out. But we're gonna make a nice little trim piece out of just our cut pipe we normally use for our, our suspension parts. That's what Dustin's doing right now. We have plenty of this pipe sitting around, so we're gonna use this, cut it down a little pie section. We can trim this out, weld that in, you got a nice trim piece for it.
I think we got us a winner for a fuel neck recess mount. Let's go. Money shot.
Feel going like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, we got our steps in place. Man, it's looking really, really good. So the next step is to anchor it. So I've laid out a couple of nice proportions of where we're going to drill and tap it. So you got a nice solid step, and it's thick enough to be able to drill and tap. So we'll have our perfect anchor points that are super strong and in nice proportions. Just the physical presence of this 2023 International gives this truck a big, aggressive look. And we're building running boards to complement that. It's going to be completely seamless. The last little piece that we need to do to this is fix this transition from the factory fender down to the board itself. So what we're going to do is make a sheet metal filler that bolts onto the fender and continue all the way down. So we have something to trim all this out, and then we can have the transition from the fender all the way down to the front of the boards. Yeah, the piece fits pretty good. Now we got a nice transition from the fender down to the running board itself. So next step is pack it all in, cutting the board and giving it a little shape.
I'm going to go ahead and cut out a cap piece now. We're going to use that to fill in the void we cut out. That'll cap it and finish it off. Alright, we got our cap all welded in. We're going to let it cool off and then we can grind it.
Plasma that real quick.
Okay. Alright, our running boards are coming along really well. We had to cut some access holes for our filler necks. Yeah, right there. So to finish these off, I'm going to go ahead and set them in there flush, tack them, weld them, and buff them, and it'll look like one piece.
welded in, got them buffed, everything sanded down, looking nice. We got all our bolts in our tubes, our main step tubes. And then I also went ahead and added some bolts into the cab as well. So that wraps it up for our running board. Back, send it to bodywork, get it painted, and then it'll get thrown on the truck.
It's time to stretch this bumper. You know, we can't just have the stock bumper on this truck, you know. When you stretch these bumpers, it really gives that aggressive look, so I have to cut this thing. Velcro. You can barely see it, but there's a radius. There's a little hump right in here. Maybe you can see it like that, but it's kind of weird the way it shapes. It's not straight across, it kind of tapers. So just to make quick work out of it, so what I'm going to do is cut right underneath it. You don't hardly ever see a stretch bumper on a wrecker unless, you know, we built it. But on semi-trucks, it's a very common modification. You know, we're trying to duplicate that somewhat, but make it way better. Now it really looks like a mustache. Yeah, I'm just gonna tack the top of the bumper, which is the bottom of the bumper, onto this, and then I'll have my filler pieces. Hey, fellers! I need y'all's help real quick. Let's get rid of this up. You wanna tack it up, Ryan? Alright, thank you. We got it tacked up now. This is the gap I'm gonna fill from here to there. So I'm gonna do it in sections. I'm gonna do the left, the right, and then the center last. First thing is rolling this piece of metal to get this radius. It's just a reference right there to where I really need to start rolling it tight. Making sure this radius is the same as that one is key. So I make sure I roll them the same, because I don't want it to be tighter on one side and not as tight of a radius on the other side. They have to be exactly the same. Yeah, that's close. If I stomp one of them, flatten it out, I'm stomping two of them. I'm not just doing one at a time, so it turns out evenly. I want everything to be symmetric on both sides of the bumper. Looks like it should have came like this from the factory. Powder coat.
With the suspension done on the 23 International, I sent it back to Ryan's shop to get that bed.
So we got Bill's truck in here today. We need to hurry up and get it knocked out.
A little ahead of yourself, aren't you, with the toolboxes?
Yeah, we had to go a little bit different on this one because he needed to do his running boards and start his build and doing the air suspension. But now it's time to get the bed set and get it all working and get it back over to Bill real quick so he can finish his stuff.
All right, let's get going.
Yes, sir. Watch that hose just so he doesn't back on it. You know, working with Bill is a little unorthodox for us to put the bed on last, but you never know what to expect with him. It's set. Now we're going to weld up the frame of the truck to the subframe of the bed. Now we're going to set the pylon so they can get the light bar on top. And then we're going to get our hydraulics up and going, and it's a downhill slope from there.
Now that we have the bed put on the 23 International, it's time to get this truck looking the part with the rest of our fleet with that black on black paint.
parts off of the new shop worker that we have. I'm about to start the sanding process. Of course, you know here at Extensive, we pretty much dechrome everything just to get that custom touch. You really want to sand it. You want to give it a lot of grooves and gouges so that your primer would adhere to it. If it's not prepped properly, later on, air, water, anything can basically get up under it, contaminate it, start it to peeling. Once it starts peeling, you got to start all the way over. Alright, got my primer in the gun, ready to go. We're gonna get a couple of coats on this thing and let it dry. Normally we just use mainly high build primers on things that are textured, like all the plastic pieces. We try to sand a lot of the texture off before we prime it. But the high build primer gives it a real solid base to start with. And now that I got everything coated, we'll go ahead and let it dry. After that, we'll start getting ready to get it prepped for the paint. This is a normal General Motors black, so actually it only have two different tints in it, white and a maroon added in with the black. Get this mixed up, looks good. Now that I've got my black base on, looks good, everything's evenly coated. I'm gonna go in, shoot a couple of coats of clear on it. Everything looks beautiful, shiny, perfect match, as usual.
Put it in just like this, and then we'll flip it up.
Aight. When you're gonna have a custom truck, you want custom things on it. The last thing we're gonna do for the wrecker is install these fenders. But their sides, yeah, we gotta raise it up 3 inches. So the next step is building all the brackets and everything that holds this heavy of a fiberglass part up while it's going down the road, shaking and hitting bumps, hitting potholes, some cases hitting curves. So the mounts we make had to be super strong and add to the overall style of it too. And I think we'll be better off go ahead and starting to do this now. Yeah, clamp it and then clamp, and that's going to get everything straight, and you can kind of manipulate it a little bit. The clamp a little bit to get it straight with the wheel. After about a couple of hours lining this fender all up so it's nice and straight, they're parallel with each other, both directions, nice and level. We have our major brackets in place, so now we're just building off the bracket itself, coming over to the fender. Then we can start attaching all this. Then it'll finally be a fender bracket after that. Just straight down and out once we get this. Yeah, I think so, man. I think it looks better like that. Or it just ties into this and just floats. Exactly. We're gonna do that. So we're winding down our fender braces now. You know, we have everything connected to the frame. Last thing is to stitch this in. Once we stitch this in, we'll cut it here. And we'll cut it the same place on the other side. Pull the second out. That's going to separate both fenders, and they'll both be floating when we cut this off. We go back 10 years now, man. It's been a minute. Man, time flies for sure. 10 years of your life, man. There's a lot goes on in those years. You know, here, no young Jamie too. Skinny. You know, I've changed a little bit too, modified some things. Man, when I started here, I was right here from the bottom, learning every little piece of how you like things to be done here. Hey, we're both pretty good at sweeping too. I mean, swept my fair share around here. You know, learned so much from you. You know, as far as the business side, as far as the build side, quality control.
You know, before, sometimes I might have questioned, how you're putting things together and stuff, but now, never. Used to. I don't ever question that now. I know. I tell people this constantly, don't question it. It's going to come together. Everything's always going to look good.
Man, I got y'all fooled, huh?
No, man. Last 10 years I've been here. It's a lot of cool projects, a lot of fun, I'm really looking forward to the next 10 years.
For us, having a shop record that looks good and performs good, it's totally instrumental for what we do here every day. And we need to get it to work right away. So we built out the fenders, installed custom running boards, and of course, made it low. I definitely believe what you put into something, you're gonna get out. And this truck is a testament to that. I'm real proud of. We've been working all hard on it, and I can't think of anybody that would rather see it other than my buddy Ryan at RPM. What's happening, man?
What's up, Bill? How you doing today?
That's a cool truck, man. What year is this?
55 Chevy with an old Holmes 440.
Old school record band on it, man. It looks real cool.
So what brings you by today?
Man, I got something out here for you to check out.
Uh-oh. What do you got out here?
Bring that cleaning stuff.
I'm gonna need that. Damn, man. That's looking good, man. Yeah. I've seen it before when I put the bed on it, but I haven't seen it like this. So that is clean, classy, slick, man. I see records every day. This one definitely stands out. I didn't think it was gonna be that cool.
I tell you what, I love the 4-door truck. 16,000-pound bed is definitely the way to go on that. I can haul whatever I want to haul now without that bed flexing at all. Our bills have been getting bigger and bigger. This is something I needed, man.
Yeah, I know when I give you something, you're always going to do something else. But this rear end, how low it is, and these full fenders dropping down really tucks that tire up in there really nice. Man, you nailed it with that.
I wanted something that lower a record, right? Well, I had to have one. So what I did is just took the factory hanger on the truck and raised it up, putting a smaller bag in place. So it actually rides 3 inches lower than it used to. It drops 3 inches lower than it used to. You see, all those tolerances are really close and tight in there. You don't have much room, but we got that big old fender underneath there too, to make it even look lower.
You guys nailed that one. The rims, the Texas rims. Oh, come on.
Of course, Texan. We're in Texas. You got to have Texas wheels. What you thinking?
Damn. Man, that is gorgeous.
One of the first things we started out doing is color matching everything, getting rid of the chrome surround around the grill, the chrome mirrors. Had to change all that up. Shiny black, man. It just makes it look classy.
De-chroming it, putting it all black, just made it really look sinister. It's just a tough truck. If I told you that was an extensive record, you'd say, of course it is.
Man, it's such a big truck and skinny bumper. So I decided to cut the bumper, lower it down so it matches the same height as the running boards also. So everything matches and flows together.
Those running boards really are clean and slick, man. It really sets that stuff off.
It just ties all that in together and hides all, sure. And you can tell it's way lower now in the front, too, than it used to be. I told you I was going to bag the front of it. Check it out.
You really did that? Oh, wait. You really got that done, man.
Yeah, man. Before it had, 11 inches in between the axle and the bottom of the frame. So what I did is took the leaf springs off and de-arched them. So the axle comes way closer to the bottom of the frame and the bottom of the oil pan. So it rides way lower, but it has that adjustability of the airbag. So we can raise the front of the truck up, drop the back down, and have that bed angle so you can get lower vehicles on it. And it rides way better also.
Really impressive, man.
And
it really looks good.
I love riding low in a big black truck, man, for sure, right?
I was kind of iffy about how that was going to turn out in the beginning, but you guys killed it, man. Good job.
Not only can I thank the guys at my shop that I rely on all day, every day, but also the guys at RPM at Ryan's shop, for the work that they do. There's an extra work going back and forth between shop and shop, but this is going to definitely turn a lot of heads all around the streets of Houston. And next time we go with Ryan to the tow show, it's going to kill it there. So I'm probably going to cruise around a little bit in it.
You guys killed it.
All right, man.
I'll see you after a while.
All right.